And let me go ahead and share my screen. And then we shall begin. Okie dokie. Everyone can see my screen, I'm sure. So thank you for joining. My name is Catherine Adams. I work with Global Experiences. We are partnered with Texas Tech, and today we're going to be speaking about international internships, specifically for engineering students. We'll have some time at the end to do question and answer, but if you have like a burning question, you can put it in the chat or you can interrupt me if you really need to. So yes, I'm a senior admissions counselor. My role is that I work with all students on the front end. So I will speak with you about your interests, where you think you might want to go. We'll go through your resume together, give you some of the preliminary information about how our program works. And my goal is to get you accepted into the program. You are also responsible for speaking to your university. It's a dual acceptance. So if Allie wants to speak about that a little bit later, you are required to work with both your advisors at school and me. Allie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Allie Wright, and I am one of the program managers in the Whitaker College of Engineering for Texas Tech University. I am the program manager for Europe, so if you are interested in going to one of Global Experiences' European locations, you will work with me, and our other program manager, Ashley, will help you with the rest of the world.
Excellent. So today we're just going to kind of go through how everything works. We'll go through how the career fields work, the different locations that are available to you, and then save some time for questions. So just to give you a little bit of background about Global Experiences, we are an internship provider, so very similar to study abroad, but instead of going to a university exchange abroad, you participate in an internship. So it's a great option because it fulfills your like international requirement. You can get credit and you're getting that professional experience that everyone needs. So it really is a great way to kind of like kill 3 or 4 birds with one stone. We are a division of AIFS. That's a larger study abroad company. So we do work with under them, but we specifically do internships. Our process is pretty easy. So the way that everything works is you apply through Global Experiences and you apply through your university. Our application is quite easy. You just go through and you submit the career fields that you think you're interested in. So for example, engineering and maybe environmental research or something like that. It depends on what your interests are, or computer science, whatever. And then you choose a location. Once you've submitted your application, I will invite you to interview. We'll go through what's called an admissions interview, like I was kind of explaining before, to try to get you accepted. The next step in the process is for you to get all your approvals done through school. You can also do that simultaneously, or really you should speak to your study abroad office first to go through all of the different program options that you have. But it is a simultaneous approval. When you're finally approved through Texas Tech, then you can officially enroll. So it's a pretty easy process, and it doesn't take too long. Okay, so some general information about our programs. I like to start with this. We are a partner of Tech, so the program prices for you all range between about $5,000 and $7,000 USD. Scholarships and financial aid will be available. There's tons of scholarships, so scholarships through school, scholarships through us, but also if you're getting credit, you typically can tap into your financial aid as long as you're a full-time student, which in the summer is 6 credits, but we can help you with all of that. Also, there are options for if you are a Pell Grant recipient and or a Gilman Scholar, which if you are, you would know if you are, we do offer additional grants. We offer friend referrals, so all sorts of different ways to help alleviate the cost on the front end. But generally that is the cost of the program. The biggest exclusions, which we'll go through a little bit later, but just to kind of think about, are airfare and food. If you choose a location such as London or Sydney, both require visas for right now. The visa fees are not included in the program fee either. So that's something that goes and paid directly to the local government, but we will help you obtain the visa. Everything else is included, and we'll talk more about inclusions later. These are the locations that are offered for Texas Tech students. There are definitely certain locations that are better for engineering, but if you are a software engineering student, or if you're interested in other things such as like environmental engineering or things like that, some of these locations do apply. But if you're looking for, something that's more like mechanical, chemical, biomedical, then there's a couple locations that are a little bit better. That would be Dublin, London, San Jose, or Sydney. We do have summer and semester programs. It's usually easier to go through the summer because then you don't have to disrupt your course schedule, but there are opportunities to go through the semester if you need to. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are all of the inclusions. The biggest things are housing. That is the biggest portion of the program fee, and the housing in all locations are apartments. So you're not in a dorm or a homestay type setting. You're in an apartment. You live with other global experiences interns. You have your own bedroom. In some of the housing, you have your own bathroom, shared kitchen, central, safe. So it's really nice. This is why food is not included, because you're cooking for yourself or you're eating out, whatever, but you have a kitchen to cook. So the other things are career and professional development, social events, networking events, all of this support, insurance, travel and medical insurance, that is included. And then visa support. If you choose a location that needs a visa, we will help you with everything. All right, so the process is pretty easy. So after you have your admissions interview with me, we're trying to get you accepted into the program. What that means, if you're accepted, is you're guaranteed an internship in your career fields. So you'll see when you fill out an application, you're required to submit a primary and a secondary career field. So you may do engineering and business, you may do engineering and nonprofits, you may do computer science and web design. It just depends on what your exact interests are. If you're accepted, it's a guarantee of an internship in your fields. I think I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. I can't remember which slide, but we do not have subsections for engineering. So we don't have specific for civil or chemical. It's just engineering as a whole. But obviously we take into account your interests. If you're an electrical engineering student, it's not likely we're going to place you in a biomedical placement. That just wouldn't happen. So it's okay that we don't have the subsections, because if you're accepted, we will still, it's our job to tailor the internship towards your personal and professional goals. Once you're accepted, you enroll, then we immediately start working with you. So the first steps are all the professional development that we provide, and then we're doing all the back end work for you to try to match you with an employer that's the best fit. So you really don't have to do any of the hard work. We set up interviews for you based on the best fit. So you should really only have to interview once. We try to make it as easy as possible. And typically 9 times out of 10, the first interview goes great. Everyone's happy. Internship is confirmed. But if for some reason it's not the right fit, we just move on. We can present you somewhere else. We can present you as many times as you need to until you have a confirmed placement, because once you're accepted, it is that guarantee of an internship. In terms of the interview, it's not anything to stress about by any means. It's more of like a courtesy to you and the employer, just to make sure that you guys agree that it's a good fit, as opposed to us just telling you what you're doing. And again, if it's not the right fit, or you're not offered the position or something like that, it's no big deal. Like, we can just easily move on. Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? No? Okay. So let's go through the career fields. Engineering. These are the subsectors of engineering that we offer. I do know at Tech you guys have like a, what is it called? I'm thinking like the oil.
Petroleum.
Yes, petroleum. Also aerospace is something that I've gotten from a few students. We don't really have anything that niche, I wouldn't say that it's impossible, but these are the more general fields that we focus on that would be more likely to be guaranteed. So you can see the list here. We can certainly deal with more specifics on a case-by-case basis. But if you see to the left, the requirements, these are not hard and fast requirements. This is generally what employers are looking for. Third or fourth year students, or if you're a first or second year student, you need to have substantial experience. So whether that's a prior internship or projects that you've done on the side, that can be through school, that can be through extracurriculars, clubs, things that you did in high school, anything that could showcase that you're slightly more accelerated if you don't have the coursework under your belt. But typically employers are looking for you to have extensive coursework. It's a little bit of a deterrent because typically European students, or even Australian or Canadian students, a lot of times they start their degree directly in what they're studying, whereas in the US we sometimes have several prerequisites or general courses that aren't as relevant. So that's typically why they look for the upperclassmen, because then you'll have enough of your engineering courses under your belt. Again, not a hard and fast. Don't stress if you don't have this experience. We're happy to talk to you about it and see what type of things we can do. Okay, so we do have tons of opportunities. Our field is IT and computing, but software engineer, computer science, it's all the same. This actually is available in most of our locations. So as we had listed before, like you can certainly go to Barcelona, whereas that's not necessarily the best location for engineering. These are the types of things that you can do. So there's a lot of different directions you can go. If you're interested more in like SEO type work, or if you're interested more in the back end, like IT or programming, coding, we have all sorts of opportunities with that. Environmental research, this is a subsection. I know that I speak with students all the time that are extremely interested in like climate change, sustainability, environmental policies and research. So this is a field that is possible for engineering students to pursue. You could work for an environmental engineering firm. You could be doing research. You could work for like a nonprofit, but within a department that would require fulfill your credit requirements. So like a R&D department or something like that. But this is a field that is possible and falls within STEM. We have a field for chem and bio. That's sometimes a good backup for the people who are like chemical engineering or biomedical. I know that's like kind of an oddly specific field, but it would sort of fall within that. If you're interested in sticking within the sciences or you want to work in more of a lab setting, that could be a good backup field for you as well. So the locations, I'll go through these kind of quickly. As I said before, London is a great location for engineering, but it's quite good for policy related work, or again, computer science you can do in basically every location. Some perks about the London program, when every location, these are the social events and day trips, but this specific location, we go to Stonehenge. We usually do like something fun like Windsor Castle. We always do welcome events and farewell events in every location. Also networking events, local meetups, other things like that. The London program is one of the larger programs. We'll probably have over 100 people on the program this summer. So it is really good if you're looking for like a big program, a big city, English speaking, of course. Dublin is by far the best location for any career field. So if when in doubt, you don't really know where you want to go, but you're more focused on the opportunities you can get, Dublin is always a safe bet. You can do basically everything there. There's a couple career fields listed here that aren't really super relevant, but you can do all types of work. You can do field work, lab work, you can do research, you can work for like more of like an engineering firm. You can do everything in Dublin. Dublin is a great location as well. There's no visa that's required. This location, you do have the single bedrooms and single bathrooms. This is our largest program, so we'll probably have about 150 plus students. Dublin's also just a great location. Everyone's very nice and friendly and welcoming. So this is the best location for everything. I mean, not necessarily like preferences, but it's the best for career fields. San Jose is also an excellent location for engineering related internships. It's also quite good if you're interested in the sustainability, environmental type work. It is also the most affordable program. So this program is priced at $49.90. And again, the only additional costs are the airfare and food, but San Jose is a very affordable city. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more economical, this is your best location choice. It is in the city though, so if you're thinking of like traditional Costa Rica, you're not necessarily by the beaches, but you're within driving distance. Sydney, Australia is also one of the better locations for the fields that you're interested in. Something to think about with Sydney, the seasons are opposite. So if you go during the summer, it's technically their winter, but it's still lovely. Sydney does require a visa, but it's very, very easy to get, and it's fairly inexpensive, about $300 US. It's also valid for a full year. So this is kind of a cool location if you like think you want to stay longer. Sydney is great for everything as well. It's a little bit trickier for engineering, like as a whole, but it does have great opportunities for like lab-based work, field work, environmental, marine biology, which I know that doesn't really apply necessarily to you guys, but if you're thinking that's maybe an interest of yours and you want to try to tie it in with engineering, this is a good location for those types of things. I don't need to go through all of these, and I'll share this presentation. So if you guys want to read through, but I put up about 5 or 6 internship examples. I'll slowly, if you want to sort of skim through it, but this is so you can sort of see, it's very general, but the type of work that people have done recently. So this would be like, I guess, a more general engineering example. And you can see that like the tasks are just kind of like working under your supervisor. That one's in London. That's like more of a manufacturing thing. This is chemical and materials engineering. So this one you can see is quite hands-on in the tasks, and would be related more towards like, as it says, biotechnology, or if you're interested more in like the materials type work. This is in Dublin. This is a civil engineering example in San Jose, but you can see that it does tie a bit to sustainability. Again, San Jose is a great location if you're interested in like urban development, sustainability, eco-friendly, anything like that. So this is just an example. Again, I'll share this, so I just don't want to read through all of them. It'll take too long. This is environmental engineering. But you can see that this requires, there's been a few students actually at Tech that have been interested in GIS software. So if you want to eventually get into like mapping and things like that, this is quite a cool placement. And this is in Costa Rica, San Jose. Computer science, this is just an example, but you can see like that a lot of the softwares or programming is required. So you would need to have like a working knowledge of Python. You need to have a working knowledge of maybe C++, things like that. And generally speaking, you do not need to be an expert at anything. Just a working knowledge is sufficient, because of course you're going to learn through your internship. We just want to make sure that you're qualified for what the employer needs so that it's beneficial to you and the employer. We wouldn't want you to be in an internship that's you're not qualified for, because that would be like super overwhelming. Another example, biomedical engineering. This is a research position with a university with a professor, so that's pretty cool. And this is more medical related. Okay, this is a video. We don't need to go through that. If you want to watch the video, it's pretty cute. Yeah, so any questions? That's it. I guess I could go back to the internship examples if you guys have more questions, but I think that pretty much sums it up. Allie, if you want to speak at all about the Texas Tech process, you're welcome to. I didn't add any slides. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. And then also I do want to ask about deadlines, and I think we can kind of come into that as I go through the Texas Tech processes.
Sure.
But before I forget, deadlines. So a bit about the process to go abroad. When wanting to go abroad with Texas Tech University, you do need to fill out an application and be approved by TTU before the program deadline. So looking at the International Engineering Program website, which I am going to drop that in the chat, and it is, since we're talking about internships, on the intern page, and so you can search by country or by major. When you look at those locations based off of your major, it's going to take you to the page where it'll talk about the program type, as well as it'll have dates and things like that. And there's a button that says start application. When you start that application, it does not take you to that program specific application. So global experiences in Dublin, for example, it's going to take you to an advising application. The advising application is the first step in the process to going abroad. So you must fill this out first. You are not tied to any specific application by starting the advising application. This is where you will work on the Study Abroad 101 video and assessment, as well as you'll fill out the pre-advising worksheet, as well as an about you. So about you, about your funding needs, your goals, personal, professional, academic, and then you'll meet with the program manager. So myself, if you want to go to Europe, and then with Ashley for everywhere else. And then after we meet and we go over your application and you decide, yes, this is the program for me, or perhaps, no, I don't want to go to Dublin. I want to go to San Jose. So then you meet with Ashley. You will then be moved. You'll tell your program manager, this is the program for me. You'll get moved out of advising and into your program specific application. The Texas Tech summer deadline is March 1st. In that application, you'll need to do a lot of reading and signing. If you want to potentially receive academic credit, you'll indicate that there. You'll also show proof that you have a passport or that you've applied for a passport. And say you meet with one of us this week and you complete everything in your TTU application before Thanksgiving. No student will be approved by Texas Tech until the end of the semester when your GPA and conduct will be evaluated. For your GPA, I believe it's a 275 for global experiences.
We actually don't have a GPA requirement,
Okay.
but we would certainly expect like above like a 2.75
Okay.
for sure. I mean, obviously the higher the better, but we don't ask.
Okay. Well, with Texas Tech University, you're required to have a minimum 2.5 GPA and to have no current issues with the Office of Student Conduct or be on probation with the Office of Student Conduct. And then after you're approved by TTU, you can do two things. You can either start working on your global experiences application, or you'll have started working with global experiences and then you tell Catherine, I have been approved by Texas Tech. I am ready to go forward. Now, sometimes programs or program locations are very popular. And so they might have an earlier deadline. So while Texas Tech might have a March 1st deadline, you don't want to wait until like February 25th to begin working on this. So Catherine, what are the deadlines for global experiences?
So we do not have hard deadlines. We do accept on a rolling basis. However, I would highly encourage that you have your plans confirmed by the end of this semester or very, very early next semester.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get your approvals through school at the mid or late December and you reach out to me after, so early January, that's fine. I completely agree. Do not wait until March 1st because it's too late. Unless you're like extremely qualified and we have no doubts that we could place you anywhere. But otherwise, I do encourage everyone to start early. I usually recommend that you have your plans confirmed by the end of your fall semester.
Mm-hmm. And so we will be working up until the Christmas break. So yeah. I will be here reviewing applications, just ready to accept you as soon as I can. With this current semester, we are advising via Zoom, and I assume that is how we will be advising in the spring semester. as well. Catherine, do you want to maybe touch on global experiences and your COVID response?
Sure. Yeah, I was actually going to put that in there, and I'm happy to send you, or I'll link our health and safety page. But we have, I think, done a really nice job at adapting to the current situation. So our spring programs were disrupted. We were able to place anyone who wanted to be placed into a virtual setting, which is good. That ended up being about half the participants. The other half, we gave them a prorated refund. And then summer and I guess basically since then, we've been doing virtual. Tech doesn't at this time, for the virtual isn't necessarily supported by the university for credit, which is fine. But in the event that your program next summer is to be disrupted or canceled, you have several options. You can either, if it's allowed, you can switch to a virtual program. You can switch locations if another location is still open. You can switch your program sessions. So if you have the ability to just like push to fall or push to the following summer, that's pretty easy. That's what most people did for this summer. Or worst case scenario, we will offer refunds. If you decide to cancel your program, but we haven't, then you would be following the normal refund policy. If we cancel programs, you will be getting a full refund, typically less deposit, which is the first $1,000. However, because of our partnership with Tech, I would be shocked if that wasn't going to be refunded more. Don't quote me, but I think we probably would end up giving more of a refund. Or again, you can just use it for a future program. You can use it for a virtual program. That's the policy as of now. If I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's important. If you cancel normal refund policy, if your school cancels and you guys aren't allowed to go, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll kind of figure it out whether or not you're still allowed to participate independently. If you need credit and you're getting it through Tech, maybe can you get it through us? So we'll kind of figure it out. But if your school cancels, then we will deal with that on a case-by-case basis. And we did that this year with all schools as well. Kim, to answer your question, you can do this during this semester. Typically, semester programs are more traditional study abroad programs are easier to do during a semester, I would say, because they're tailored towards your coursework, whereas this program is really focused on an internship, so you would need to kind of supplement your courses. Usually back in the day, that was a little bit more difficult. Now we're all so used to this virtual world that taking your classes online is not a big deal anymore. So if you wanted to do something during a semester, if it worked with your courses, you can do your internship, get credit for the internship, and then you can do your remaining courses online. You just need to talk to your advisors to make sure that that works with your schedule and you're going to get the courses that you need.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you plan on getting your passport and resume updated over the winter break, you can still apply for a summer internship. We just encourage that you try to work on it sooner rather than later.
Part of our program is career and professional development. That's like a huge aspect of our program. And so if your resume is not perfect, it's totally fine. We're going to edit it with you. We'll help you with that. We'll help you with your cover letter. We do a coaching call, all sorts of stuff. So as long as it has the recent information on it, that's what's more important. The formatting and everything, don't break your back over it. We can help you with that later. But yeah, if you want to just speak to me about how everything works, or submit like a preliminary partial application, that's fine. I still recommend you start with your school, go through all of the options that you have, and just get started on your applications. This is a good time to get started. I wouldn't delay too much longer just because you're trying to edit your resume.
I agree. And then I'm also going to put a couple other resources in the chat for you. So one of them is a YouTube video of the funding workshop. So for the fall semester, there were several funding workshops with the scholarship office, the financial aid office, and the study abroad office. And they've also recorded one of them. So if you want to learn more about using scholarships and financial aid while going abroad, that resource is there for you. And then also, as engineering students, the Engineering Opportunity Center, or EOC, they do have resume and cover letter critiques. And so I believe you just need to email that to our career services within the college. And I'm also putting this page, or this link to that page, in the chat for you as well. So you are able to look at that resource. And so if you have time, you're able to work on that this weekend or over Thanksgiving, what have you. That is there for you as well. I will also put some funding information as well. We do have an Identify Funding on the International Engineering Programs website, where there's information on scholarships, financial aid, as well as using military and veterans benefits. So that's there for you. Other questions?
I was wondering, do we have to go through global experiences, or is that just a helpful program that it's just makes it a little bit cheaper?
Yeah, you definitely don't have to go through us. There's tons of programs, and I mean, you can go through a TTU specific program, so maybe like faculty led or a study abroad. We are just an affiliate of this university, and we specialize in internships. Mm-hmm. So it's up to you which program you want to do. But if you think that you want to intern in Dublin, for example, then we would be one of your options.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Kim, I'm reading your question. So for summer or next fall, yes. So if you're thinking summer 2021, you should try to apply as soon as you can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wait too much longer, maybe January at the latest, but you do want to just try to get it done as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm.
I can link our application too. Our application takes maybe 10 minutes. It's really just a matter of choosing what you want to do, and then, or what you think you want to do, and then submitting your resume and program goals. The program goals, it doesn't need to be like a official cover letter by any means. It's just really for us to get to know you a little bit more, what your interests are, what you have already done, where you think you want to go, just like a little summary. So again, you don't have to spend too much time on that stuff. It's better to just get started, and then we can talk more during our call. But yeah.
And several of the items that Catherine just mentioned, you also should put in your, will be asked about in your pre-advising worksheet. So it is like helpful to do both at the same time.
Yeah. It is a little redundant, but you know, it's just, it is what it is. We want to make sure we're crossing all of our T's and dotting all of our I's, and you guys are, you know, doing your due diligence.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any other questions? I know I kind of ran through the presentation. I thought it was going to take longer, but does anyone have any specific questions, like about your major and what you can and can't do? Or do you have any questions about locations if you've never been? I know Allie touched on the finances a little bit. There's tons of resources about finances, and lots of opportunities for scholarships and additional grants and funding and things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that anything anyone can think of? Well, okay. I guess no one has any questions. That's okay.
Yeah, we covered everything.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put my email here. If you need me for anything, or I'm happy to help. You can email me directly. You can go to the website, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't started anything at school, I will likely just redirect you back to school, so you can start there first as well. Allie linked the link to start your application there. So let us know if you have any questions. Thank you everyone for attending. Allie, was there anything else?
I don't believe so, but if you do have any questions or you want to learn a bit more about a specific location, like Catherine said, don't be afraid to reach out. There's like a chat feature on their website. I'm a big proponent of, we'll just go and like talk to them. It
Yeah.
doesn't hurt anything
Yeah,
to ask
worst
a
case,
couple
if
questions.
if you're not a good fit for the program or our program's not a good fit for you, it's fine. You and I will just chat for 15 minutes and that's all.
Mhm.
All
Absolutely.
right. Well, I'm gonna stop recording.